Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking Dairy Free and Alpha Golf with Nancy. And tonight I got a special. My little clapper, Cooking Dairy Free and Alpha Golf with Nancy comfort food. Take one and clap. So I got that because of my other channel and the partner perks. So welcome everybody in the chat. Hi Rebecca, those who are watching on the TV and those who will watch the replay. Thank you for coming and everything. So tonight I am not cooking. My hip is hurting. My left hip is hurting a lot. So, but I want to discuss. So whether I'm be in the kitchen doing it, I can sit here and do it. This is a cookbook that we like and we love to make things out of. And so I thought tonight would be a good night to sit down and just sit back, relax, and enjoy some conversation about how to change the food that we normally, everybody regularly has to being dairy free or alpha-gal friendly. Because sometimes that's hard to do because it's like you get, you know, everything else is all associated with grocery stores, and it's nothing against them or anything, unless you go to like Whole Foods, but regular grocery stores used to have this little section of dairy-free cheese or dairy-free sour cream or whatever. Now it's getting to be where there's more, but then you wonder, oh, how can I change this out? All right, so with cottage cheese, how you know you can't have it because you're dairy-free. Well, the dairy-free cottage cheese of the vegan is like almost 4 times expensive as the regular cottage cheese. Is like, how, because you use that to make lasagna and different dishes, and it's like, how do we change it up? So that's some of the things I want to talk about tonight. And some things, let me get this one. It's called Chicken and Sausage Skeletini. And some of it is really kind of so that one. It is kind of easy to sit there and change up what you want to put in there. It calls for 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, half a pound of spicy ground pork sausage. So instead of using the pork sausage, you could use the turkey sausage. Or you could just leave the sausage out altogether and just have the chicken. It's a red onion, 2 garlic cloves, a can of diced tomatoes, 1 red pepper, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of dried basil, half teaspoon of dry oregano, salt, pepper. The greeny pasta, you can use regular noodles. You can change the noodles up. If you're have problems with gluten, getting gluten-free noodles, that could help also. They come out with this I cannot think of the name. It starts with a B, but it's the blue box. They've come out with a protein noodle, so you could change the noodles up also in that dish. Now, before I had got, we started changing. I didn't eat beef. We did this dish because it's actually dairy free. There's no dairy in it whatsoever. If you don't like onions, you can leave the onions out. You can change up from onions, put leeks in there instead. If you, like I said, if you don't like onions, it's like we talk about, other people have different other food allergies that aren't really on the list of the main 8, 9 that they have. But yeah, if you have peppers and peppers give you heartburn, don't use the peppers. I'm trying to think of what substitute for peppers. Probably maybe if you chopped up radishes or turnips and then saute them till they're soft. That could be an alternative to the peppers. Now, to me, peppers give me heartburn, but I found out growing my own peppers, which was banana peppers, I didn't have the heartburn. So I'm like, that's pretty interesting. So this is one dish we've made, and it's like, oh my goodness. It's just like the basics, and then you can change it up to however you want. Um, like the tomatoes, you can leave the tomatoes out, and you can add. I was thinking tamales, but that's kind of like along the lines of the tomatoes too. You can add a different vegetable. Um, Maybe some broccoli in there instead. If you don't like broccoli, just think outside of the box. Like jicama or parsnips or something else like that. There's always such a variety in the store that we get stuck in using the same vegetables over and over again that you know we don't understand. Go try something else just to see. You could put, saute some Brussels sprouts and put that in there. Um, I was just sitting here thinking because I saw something that made me think, oh, mushrooms. You could put mushrooms in there, or if you don't like mushrooms, like I was thinking, celery. That's what I was thinking. You could add celery in there. So different ways, with that noodle dish that we could do. You could do. No, we did never do this one. Maybe we did. I don't remember us doing this. But the roast right there and the mashed potatoes. Now, if you're trying to, now as far as dairy free, that's perfect for dairy free. Because you can have roast and put over mashed potatoes and everything. And then, but for alfalfa, you can use chicken instead and cook your chicken breast and then slice it like you would, just slice it on the bias, which is like on an angle. And then, put over your mashed potatoes and then your gravy and all that. And it'll work the same way. I see here. This page has the fajitas. Oops, there goes my mark, my little bookmark. So the fajitas, kind of like the same way with the sour cream. Now the dairy-free sour cream isn't too bad at all, and you can. That's pretty good to do with that. So if you don't want to use round steak or beef or anything, just change it out for chicken, fish, turkey. So let me go through here again. Let's see. Well, here's some of my favorite things. It's called Grandma's Pecan Balls. So when it says a cup of softened butter, use vegan butter, the dairy-free butter, which has, some of it has soy in it, so you still gotta watch and see what ingredients they have in there, because some people are allergic to soy. So, when it goes to grocery shopping and everything, oh my goodness, you've got to look at everything, the ingredients, what has stuff in it. Some people, like some of the cheeses has the carrageenan in it, but some people can't have that. So, it's like, oh my goodness. So that one it's called Buckeye Brownies, but it has peanut butter in it. So just leave out the peanut butter, because it's 1 pound or 1 package of brownie mix, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 cup of creamy peanut butter, and semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now, as far as the peanut butter goes, you can change that out to like the sunflower butter, or it is almond butter. You can use that instead and make the same thing right there. Now, when Anastasia was born, we got this book. It's called Go Dairy Free, and it was probably like one of the very few cookbooks for dairy free living and everything. And it's not a bad cookbook, but the things that she used, it was like, oh my goodness, stuff that was like the gar, that stuff's expensive. So it was just like, so we started learning how to do our own stuff. I mean, she does have in here about heavy cream and store bought dairy free cream. And I'm just like, how the, she says over the years she spotted a few brands of vegan cream, nut creamer, using soy, nuts, or oats as base. These tend to be more readily available in Europe or are coming easier to find in North America thanks to the onslaught of new free-form products and the internet. And then she gives websites and stuff. And then, recipes to make it yourself. Because a lot of things back, 11 years ago, you had to make it yourself. And not a lot of people knew how to do that. Um, this is a recipe for corn dogs. So we stopped eating hot dogs a long time ago. But, every once in a while it's good to have a good hot dog and everything. Well, they do make turkey hot dogs. We just haven't been able to find any. And I was just like, ooh, I would like to try that turkey hot dog just to see how it turns out. And so making your own hot dog or corn dog it's the cornmeal, and you just, excuse me, so it says 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2/3 cup of cornmeal, 2 tablespoons of shortening, 1 egg, a third cup, 3/4 cups of milk, 8 to 10 hot dogs, and 8 to 10 sticks. So you basically, you put those in, form the cornbread over the hot dog, and then you fry it in a deep fryer. You could just bake it in the oven. So, and then they made your corn dog at home. All right, let's see here. Now, some things are easier to sit there and substitute than others. Um, Now, like when it came to making lasagna, um, that's a dish I'm gonna redo and all and everything. Um, it was called crockpot lasagna, and it did call for you know your layers, and it had ricotta cheese and everything, and like the dairy free or vegan cottage cheese. I mean ricotta cheese wasn't really a lot of brands out there at the time to sit there and try to go purchase, and Kite Hill was one of them. And it was like probably two of these together, or maybe that was, I mean, it was $10 just for that little thing. So what we learned to do was when we wanted to make lasagna, we took that crock pot recipe and we made the noodles like you're supposed to, and then we layered it with sauce, then our meat, and we took shredded cheese and layered it. And that's where you keep, and then your noodles, and you keep layering it, and then you let it cook. And then Daiya was the only cheese at the time, but then when Follow Your Heart came out with cheese, that started melting a whole lot better. So, yep, we can make lasagna out of eggplant. Eggplant's also part of the nightshade. So if you like with fibromyalgia or inflammation, arthritis, eggplant sometimes will just sit there and flare up that inflammation. But that's one way to do it. If you don't want the ricotta cheese, just do your layers like you would, but use shredded cheese. And you can change up the shredded cheese. You don't have to always use mozzarella. You can use a Mexican style cheese. You can use Colby Jack cheese, and then or just regular cheddar cheese. Now, in our areas, Kroger and Meyer have gone to where they have their own of dairy-free cheeses, vegan cheeses and stuff. So one thing that helped, I think, during the 2019 and 2022 was that companies started to realize that, oh, people have food allergies, or, this can't go into this ingredient, and they start changing out the ingredients, or they start making more of their own because products won't coming into port and everything. Miyoko's, I think that's made in Japan, I think. And I know Follow Your Heart is not American because I've talked to them some. So that's where, and I'm glad the grocery stores have picked up. I know Walmart has got some, I don't know if it's their brand, but they've got other brands in there also that, you can try out. And I think it's great because sometimes, the store brand is always, a few dollars less or more than the name brand. Because I'm just like, sometimes I feel like, you're just paying for the name of the product. Yeah, it's like, yeah. So with your lasagna, um, you put down your sauce, then you put down your meat, you put down your noodles, then your meat. All right. So the bottom layer, put down your sauce, put down your noodles, put down your meat, then your cheese. And then start with a layer of sauce, put your noodles, your cheese, your meat, then your cheese, and then a layer of sauce. Because on that bottom layer, if you're doing it, especially in a pan or a crock pot, you don't want stuff to burn. But that bottom layer of that lasagna will give it steady substance and steadiness. So when you go to cut, it'll be all right. And then you just keep layering it until the top is just cheese and everything. And in the crock pot, and then let it cook for a couple of hours, and all that cheese melts and everything. It's always so good. And then the same thing with our spaghetti. We still use, hey Misha, how you doing? I just made lasagna. Oh, that sounds so good. So when we make our spaghetti, and we don't combine, you make your noodles and your sauce and everything. There's like no leftovers. When my daughter-in-law does baked spaghetti, there's a bunch of leftovers. So we're just like, oh, okay. So she makes the baked spaghetti. And so I'm doing my test dummy thing again. So I'm testing on myself about eating beef. And we don't know if this is from the beef and my fingers, but also I've been doing immunology shots. So there's a lot of things going on. I like, I kind of I want to see, and I kind of want to stay off the beef also because I can tell a difference. Just my body itself. Um, Not eating beef, I feel better, just better overall. So tomorrow night when they fix spaghetti. I've got some turkey hamburger that I've got over there. I've got in the fridge, and I'll be making a video of chili, turkey chili. I am drinking. It's called lemon and ginger tea. Yeah, I've got lemon and ginger tea. It's from Twinings, so it's caffeine free. It's cold now, so it's cold tea instead of hot tea. But yeah, I'm drinking tea. Oh, it's so good. But I do have to put a little bit of stevia in it because it has a twang to it. Because it's like, oh, it's not a bite, but it's like you can always like, oh, you can tell it's ginger in there. So and then all right, so like here on the front, the very front, that looks so good. And it's like, how do you change something like that? So let me find it. So, so egg dishes are really simple. You know, they taught how these eggs casseroles in there and everything. It's eggs. If you put milk in your eggs, use almond milk or soy milk. Um, and then you just put in there what you want. All right. So then, like one night we had pizza. All right. So I showed you all the pizza dough um, that we use. I still like making my own pizza dough. So, but that's all right. It still turned out very good. So when Anastasia and I used to have pizza during the day for lunch, um, she didn't like sauce. She didn't like. Here's funny. She didn't like tomato sauce, but she have salsa. Start to use bison for hamburger now. Ooh yeah. Hi Journey with Queen. How are you? I am trying to find this one that's on the front. All right, so I'm gonna have to go. All right, so here's an idea. All right, while I'm looking for that, here's the peppers. I love stuffed peppers. The stuffed peppers don't love me. So take your acorn squash and everything you put in your stuffed peppers. Take your acorn squash, cook it, and then because you gotta haul out all the seeds and everything. Add everything you put in a bell pepper, put it in an acorn squash, and then like put butter on top and all, and it comes out so well. All right. Sandwiches, sides, soups, desserts, mains, chicken. I'm looking where it says pasta. It's cakes, cookies, and bars, means. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. No. All right. Oh, I'm not too far from it. That says, all right, that's the ziti. That's not what I'm looking for. It came as one. Okay. It's called Easy Cheesy Manicotti. So 1 pack, a 12-ounce package of manicotti, uncooked, salt, olive oil, cream cheese, softened cottage cheese, Monterey Jack, 1 egg, fresh parsley, garlic, mozzarella, and then spaghetti sauce. So what they did here is the cottage cheese in the middle. Well, I don't like cottage cheese. So to me, you could use ricotta cheese, like the dairy-free ricotta cheese. You could fill it up with, make a sour cream base and maybe ricotta cheese, and mix it together. You've got your thickeners, or like your cornstarch, or tapioca starch if you don't want to use potato starch, and then make a base and put that in there in the noodles. And then if you don't want to use tomato sauce, if you don't like tomato sauce, use an Alfredo sauce. Now, I have a video where I made my own cheesy sauce type thing. Acorn squash, nice and sweet, yes. No, I don't have that link here, Rebecca. That's on the other channel. So, just another simple way, if you still like the cheese, you don't like cottage cheese, take cream cheese and mix it with your shredded cheese, and then use a little bit of cornstarch or tapioca starch to make it, I don't want to say thick, but combine it so it's not falling apart. But then, it will still melt. Then, like I said, if you don't want the tomato sauce, find a Alfredo sauce or make your own white sauce. So that's what I did. It's a white sauce. Then you would add your cheese. Then, some people put like parsley or cilantro. And a lot of people don't like cilantro. I think these are green onions on there or something like that. Maybe it's the basil. And fresh basil. So, and then they use Monterey Jack cheese. So that's another way of doing those. And for those that I had 2 channels. This is I have Our Treasure Home, which is the main channel, and that does have recipes on there, but then I separate them and I'm just doing the cooking here. Here's another cookbook that we have. It's a slow cooker quick fixes. So let's see here. Okay, so the sesame chicken. That one, pretty easy unless you don't want, if you have soy allergy, don't use the soy sauce. You can use the Dr. Bragg's amino acids sauce. And then I know Walmart's come out with that also. So there's other versions you can use if you can't use soy. Use the coconut aminos. There's a coconut aminos, and I just saw it the other day. And then, but some people do have allergies to sesame seeds, so you can just leave the sesame out there. This one, the other one has desserts in it. Okay, so like this with your strawberries, chocolate covered strawberries. They look good. You could just do the chocolate. You didn't have to use the nuts if you have a nut allergy. So instead of nuts, you could use coconut. If you have a strawberry allergy, do mangoes. Chocolate covered mangoes. But there's other fruit you can use to do that. Mine's just like strawberries because that's what we go to. So all right, let's see here. All right, that's because that's like the cookie book I have over there. There's stuff I have to substitute. Let's see here, because I know with some other things that was the brownie. Okay, so like this one, the bread pudding right here, it has evaporated milk in it. So what you could do is find dairy-free evaporated milk, find a recipe to make it yourself, or just change it up um, and use like your almond milk, coconut milk, and all. And then because evaporated milk, condensed milk is the thicker milk, and evaporated milk is just more liquid. So you would just change that out. The butter, you would just use your vegan butter. Um, and then it has walnuts and it has raisins. So if you didn't want the walnuts or you have an allergy to nuts, just leave the nuts out. So like when it comes to peanut butter, you've got your almond butter, you got sunflower butter. I don't want to say safflower, but I don't think so. All right, so let's see here. Let me go to that other book. Which one do I like best? Which one of what do I like best? Oh, the butters. Well, um, well, Country Crock has come back out with their originals, which is pretty good. Um, it says Country Crock. Then you have. I can't believe it's not butter. Has one. Let me see. Now, Earth Balance we used to get all the time, and it was in the big tub. But they don't have that anymore. Well, not in that area. Let's put it that way. So Miko's, it's okay, but it's as I say, it's okay. It does not really feel like it's creamy like it should be. Country Crock has plant butter, which is pretty good. Earth Brands has a stick. Well, they used to have the sticks around here. The sunflower or almond, okay. I prefer almond over the sun because I've got sunflower butter up there. It is really sweet. Um, if it comes down to it, I like the almond butter. I still go back to peanut butter. But if I could not have peanut butter, I would use almond. Well, that's a nut. I would have to go with sunflower. Yeah, almond. I would go with the almond. The sunflower just Only time I would use a sunflower now, because I've tried to put it on celery and everything to eat with. It's okay. It wouldn't be something of my favorite. But I am going to try to cook with the sunflower butter because I want to see how that cooks with. So maybe that would be an option with like there's no other choices or whatever, and there's just sunflower butter and or that's something you had on hand. I want to see how well it cooks up and how it does like in a cookie or something other like that. And thank you for the heart. Via Life has butter. It's in the Country Crock, has their plant butters, and it says Smart Balance, but I haven't seen those. Orlando Lakes has plant butter. So, what we've got, I'll show y'all next week. Or do a video. Um, I mean, those aren't bad. We like the Earth Balance, and then the small tubs. It just depends on where you go, how much price you're gonna pay for them. Um, we found Country Crock has the big tubs. I like the big tubs of, and it says original. And it has no milk in it whatsoever. So that's pretty cool. May marinate with peanut butter, almond butter, and soy sauce. I have had made my own peanut sauce. Yes, I think it's on our Treasure Home. I think, but yeah, I've done that. Made my own peanut butter and or almond butter marinade or sauce and everything instead because it doesn't take much, but it's like if you go to see what's in the how to make it, like if you Google it online and everything, and you got all these ingredients, it's like, huh, huh. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna get this recipe. Okay, this girl's recipe is a third cup of natural peanut butter. Let's really say peanut butter. But she's vegan. A fourth of a teaspoon of ginger, a tablespoon of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of low sodium sauce, 1 teaspoon of rice wine vinegar, a half a teaspoon of sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of fourth a hot cup of water, and a fourth a teaspoon of grated crushed pepper flakes. Well, crushed peppers optional. But then you get to looking like, oh man, I go to the store and get this sauce and that sauce and rice wine vinegar. I don't have all that stuff, here. So as you try to Google and look and see, you know, other ones that are recipes are maybe shorter, don't have as much as in there. What I had started doing was like, okay, let's start with the peanut butter because you're making a peanut butter sauce. That's what you want to make with. All right. So you need, well, peanut butter has got kind of like sugar in it. She's going to use maple syrup. Well, depends on what maple syrup you have. It's like, look in the ingredients. Unless it's pure maple syrup. You can use honey. A lot of people have honey already on hand. So you take your peanut butter, as much as you want. She used a third cup. If you used a half a cup, you take your measure your peanut butter, add your honey till your peanut butter becomes almost to a sauce where it's not too runny, but you don't want it too thick either. Then, she's going Asian way. You can add ginger. Ginger will make it more like, if you put it over rice and chicken and everything. Eliminate the soy sauce. If you don't have soy sauce, there's Worcestershire sauce, but that has a lot of stuff in it too. But I'm trying to think. Soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce. If you have the amino acids from Dr. Bragg, use that instead. If you got the coconut aminos, another brand of coconut aminos, you can use that. You're going to add some water to it, and put it in there, the vinegar. If you have the regular white vinegar, I wouldn't use apple cider vinegar, but we don't want to use too much of the vinegar because you will get that. To me, I would get the bite of the vinegar. So I would just use stuff that you have at home. And then the next time, if you wanted to make a full recipe, like what she had or somebody else's, put it on your grocery list. But that's how, I guess you call winging it or doing it on the fly or something. And I've done that because I want peanut sauce to go with this chicken. Well, I looked it all up and I'm like, you got all this right here. I'm like, some of us, some of the stuff that they use is expensive. I'm trying to see one of the things she had in this book. Let me find some recipes. All right. All right, so tofu. Well, tofu is not that. Either non-succulent tofu. I think that's the fat of the cheeses. All right. So, nutritional yeast. Let's see. All right, so she has down here one thing about she has sweetened condensed milk was agave nectar. So you probably could substitute that. And then cane juice. And I was like, we start looking into that as like, I don't know. We could find out a different way to do it. So, but this, so we got another different recipe. So, you go through looking at it, and they've got like sriracha and tamari and toasted sesame seed oil. And it's like, I don't think that sounds like that's what it tastes like from this restaurant when you get peanut sauce. I was like, I don't like tamari. So I'm like, and sriracha is really hot. So I'm like, that's a no-go. I'm like, we're going to sit there and we do this our own way. So that's one way of learning how to substitute some things. It's like, try here, take your peanut sauce, peanut butter, and you add the water and then add your other ingredients and ginger. And I would use honey because that's what I have on hand. And yeah, tweaking it all the time. Do it all the time. So learn to look at what you have in the house, what you already have at home. Because if you look up thickeners, there's your cornstarch, potato starch, tapioca starch. There's another one. But those are the three basics a lot of people. Flour. Everybody has flour. That's a thickener too. That's what I did when I made the white sauces. And then I put cheese in there to help thicken it up. So, you take your milk, you heat it up, take some out, Put some cornstarch in it to thicken it up. Put it in there, let it simmer for a little bit. It thickens up, and then you add whatever flavors and seasonings you want. If you just want salt and pepper in it, just add the salt and pepper in it. And then, later on you could add, if you're doing more of Italian style or a Greek or something like that, then that's when you add those seasonings. Now, if you want a cheesy sauce, you do the same thing, just add your cheese to it, as much cheese as you want it, let the cheese melt. Now, like some vegan shredded cheeses melt easier than others. I have no idea because it's kind of like all the basic same thing. It's like, I don't know. I do know that Myers brand melts better than some of the others. Daiei, that used to leave an aftertaste with the coconut, and we just didn't like that. Um, so it's like this past grocery shopping trip, I want a sliced cheese. So they got the Meyer sliced cheese. It looks just regular, like regular cheese. The American cheese. It's a cheddar, but they use turmeric and paprika to get the color to make it look like regular. We call it cheddar cheese, orange cheese, as Anastasia used to call it, orange cheese. So that's something else you can look at. I've tried making my own butter and my own cheeses, and it just doesn't work out. It's like, no, it doesn't. Not really. Not like they showed on someone else's channel will show how to do it and everything. I've done step by step. It still didn't come out that way. So that's that one that had the sriracha in it. I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, so all recipes, they have a half a cup of crunchy peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of white vinegar, 2 drops of hot pepper sauce, 1 clove garlic, minced, and half a cup of water. All right, so a clean and simple recipe. Take out the hot sauce and the soy sauce, and don't have to put any hot sauce in it. If you want it hot, you could. And as far as like the soy sauce, just change it out to the amino acids, Dr. Bragg's, or the coconut sauce, like from a like Walmart has or something, and put that in there. It says white sugar, not white vinegar. Well, and it doesn't have any vinegar in it. So it says it's peanut butter, soy sauce, white sugar, hot pepper sauce, garlic, and a half a cup of water. So leave the hot stuff out and substitute the soy sauce, and there you go. There's your peanut sauce. To me, that's just quick and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ingredients, but you can knock it down to 5 ingredients, and you got something homemade that already know what's in it, and it's quick, it's simple. Within 5 minutes, you have your own peanut sauce. So that's one way we've learned how to substitute things and change things out when it comes to cooking. Another dairy free. All right. So chili, I use ground turkey instead to do my chili. All right. Let me see here. Where is All right, there we go. As we know, we love those kind of cookies. It's the Hershey Kisses cookies, That's the almond kiss cookie. So, you put that in there, the cookie in the middle after you bake your cookie, and then put the Hershey's Kisses right there and everything. Well, if you can't have chocolate and you can't have the regular dairy and everything, get the molds and you would take and melt the chocolate like in a bowl in the microwave, or if you have a little mini crock pot, you can melt the chocolate in there. I've always found out to add a little bit of olive oil in that chocolate to make it smoother and everything. Get your molds, just fill your mold up, stick it in the freezer, and when it's time for it to be put on the cookie, you can have the same thing with that, but you've got your own dairy-free chocolate that you used. And that was one of them. So when I made the cream cheese bells, which some of them looked like this, and some of them did not. We used the dairy-free cream cheese. And I used walnuts instead of pecans or pecans. As far as the nuts go, because that's basically the filling is that, change up the filling. If you don't want the nuts, you can't have the nuts. Make the bells like you're going to do and put like strawberry filling in there, strawberry jam or a favorite jam that you like. It could be blueberry, blackberry, peach. Try marmalade, orange marmalade, and put that in there instead, and make it, instead of the nut filling, put like be almost like the cookie that has the jelly in the middle. All right, let's see here. There was another one that I had to change up. Let's see if I can find up here. And that's like when I made the with the Bisquick, and I made the strawberry bars. They called for raspberry. I just changed it up to strawberry. All right, let's see here. Okay. So these ones right here, the pinwheels. So we made chocolate pinwheels last year, a couple of years ago. Anastasia and I did, and those they were kind of easy to do. It was at the chocolate. It was peanut butter. It was supposed to be chocolate. Let me see here. Peanut butter. Drop cookies. Well, I don't find it. Anyway, what we did, we made the dough and then we made the peanut butter. But we used confectionery sugar in the peanut butter to make it smoother and everything. And then, you rolled out the dough, then you put your filling in there, and then you roll it back and you set it in the fridge because you gotta let that firm so you can cut it. And it turned out really good, but it's like some things when you go to the substitute, you've got to adjust for it. Now, like when I pudding as an example, Jello pudding, whether you're doing the vanilla pudding, the chocolate pudding, and all. Um, we used to try it so much all the time. It calls for 2 cups of milk, and you mix it with the pudding, and it would not set at all. And I'm like, what is going on with this? So, the channel I used to follow, I asked him, I emailed him, and I said, Mike, how you doing this with the almond milk and everything? He goes, try using only 1.5 cups of almond milk to mix with the Jello pack and see how that does. I never got to it. So that's something I'm going to get to here on the channel because, it's holiday time. We like those chocolate pies and the pudding pies and everything. So I was like, okay, so we've got to try to see if using 1.5 cups to the pudding mix works better. So Anastasia last year, she was in what's called Kids in the Kitchen, and they had a recipe. I thought we printed it out, but they had a recipe that they did the pudding in the milk and everything, and that's exactly what she told them to do. Use only 1.5 cups if you had um, almond milk or oat milk or something another in the pudding, and that made it that worked. It made it come out right. So that's what I'm gonna do. Get some pudding and do that. Um, I still haven't gotten to where I was. The chocolate that I made, I want to do with grapes. Um, because we got grapes and then we ate them all. And I was like, and then I made the barbecue sauce with the grapes. So that turned out really good. Um, there's things as we go along with the channel and everything, showing y'all how to substitute different things. Um, main things are your cheeses and your butter. And once you have those ingredients, you kind of oh, this is easy. I don't want to use potato starch. Well, I use cornstarch. You can still use flour. If you don't want to use the regular flour, get gluten-free flour. There's tapioca starch also. Um, but I am starting going to do these recipes in here so I can show y'all more about how to do it instead of just talking about it. I figured tonight would be a good night just to sit down and kind of go through some things. So look at your ingredients in the store. Like I said, some cheeses, if like Daiya has coconut in it. Some of them has soy in it. So you just keep an eye out on what you're looking for. Can you substitute, I think Worcestershire sauce has soy in it too. So, stuff like that. Look and see what's the ingredients. Is it something that you can't have, or maybe you're willing to try something different? Let's see here. Sure. Fire. Worcestershire sauce. Let's see if we can find ingredients. Alright, so distilled white vinegar, molasses, sugar, water, salt, onions, anchovies, garlic, cloves, tamarind extract, natural coloring, natural flavoring, chili pepper extract. So it does says contains anchovies. I don't like anchovies. How I used to eat like Worcestershire sauce. But that's something, it's like, okay, here are the ingredients. Well, I might have vinegar at home and molasses and sugar. We all have water, salt, onions, garlic cloves, natural flavoring. Well, they ain't going to tell you what the natural flavoring is. And then chili pepper extract. Well, try making that at home just to taste, just test it out and see what you like and what you don't like. Because, anchovies is fish. I don't like fish. And then some people have seafood allergies. So those are just some of the tips and tricks that we do um, when it comes to cooking and making our dishes. But we're going, next week I'll be getting more into doing something else with the live. Um, like I said, I'm making turkey chili tomorrow, so that'd be a video. The videos I said that were coming out as far as like the coffee creamer and everything, I did not get to because I had 3 doctor's appointments last week. Part of it was the immunology shots for the health and everything, and just everybody knows I got new glasses, so that was a new glass, an eye doctor, a health checkup, and then an immunology shot. So like, oh no, I need to make videos. So those I'll be making tomorrow and everything. So videos will be out next week and all. So, but we've been here for an hour and everything, and kind of like need to get stuff together for tomorrow and all. So, but thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching, the TV watchers and all those who watch the replay. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for being here. And we'll see you next time. God bless. Stay safe. We love y'all. And see you next time on Cooking Dairy Free and Alpha God with Nancy. Have a great evening.